Welcome to the Men of Iron podcast, guys. It's Garrett back here for continuing this series on a man's voyage. And it's interesting. We've kind of covered 3 parts of this. And I was thinking about for this 4th part, kind of which direction to go. And I was reminded of an experience I had in October 2016. I was sitting along the waters of the San Diego Bay in Coronado, California. And I was kind of staring out across the harbor into downtown San Diego, really intrigued by the volume of boat traffic in the harbor. I was watching all these boats, kind of both big and small, right? Very, very large, very small boats, some sailing, some motors, right? But they're kind of sailing in and out of the harbor for hours. And it was interesting. Later that evening, a friend of mine named Tim Bulkey, he shared an interesting story about the harbor to me. And it was a few years earlier, I believe, that Tim noticed this huge vessel that was docked in the harbor there in San Diego. And he didn't think much of the boat until he came back the next year, and it was still sitting in this same exact spot. And he was sharing with our group that he thought it was strange, right, that this large vessel was still docked in the harbor. And I believe it was a local person that was there had shared with Tim that the vessel had been run so hard for so many years that it was taking several years to complete all the maintenance and the repairs that were required for this vessel to be useful again. Now, I want you to think about that. Can you wrap your head around the fact that this huge vessel, which was developed, it was designed, it was built to be out at sea, was stuck for years in the harbor for maintenance and repairs? I mean, someone was at one point responsible for the well-being of this ship, right? And in the midst of all the voyages that this vessel was taking, this person must have lost sight of the fact that the boat needed rest. Even the boat needed to come into harbor. Even the boat needs maintenance. Even the boat needs repairs on occasion. You see, it needed to come into the harbor for all these scheduled maintenance and repairs, yet they dismissed the significance of taking care of the ship. And man, I want to just kind of share this with all of us, is that the same is very true for each of our voyages. As men, like vessels, we can typically find ourselves right out at sea, and we're trying to do good work. I mean, we're running hard, right? We're not trying to neglect our spiritual health, but oftentimes when we're running hard continuously without pausing, we're neglecting our spiritual health. And we know we should be taking time to come into the harbor. We know we should be taking time to anchor down, right? And come in for maintenance, but we keep putting it off. And instead, what we choose to do is just continue to battle the waves, continue to battle the winds, continue to battle the other hazards that the sea throws at us. And eventually, all these things wear us down until one day we are literally incapable of pursuing the voyage that God has designed us for. So regardless of what our culture teaches, regardless of what our culture models, regardless of whatever Instagram reels you're watching, men, we're here to tell you that all of us need to anchor down. All of us need to come into the harbor. All of us need to take a breath every now and then. You see, because a vessel can't withstand storms on the open seas without first being anchored down in the protection and in the comfort of the harbor. And our lives are no different. You see, your faith must become the anchor that keeps your vessel from drifting or being destroyed even by the sea. Before attempting, guys, to live effectively or to model leadership and strength for others, we've got to first understand how to anchor down into a solid relationship with our Creator. So here's our challenge this week. We just want to encourage all of you, take 10 minutes, sit quietly, and assess your voyage. And I have a question here. Is the action of your voyage causing you to dismiss coming into the harbor to anchor down? What's the condition of your vessel? Do you feel equipped for the voyage? We want you to pull out that journal, write your thoughts. Again, assess your own voyage. Is the action of your voyage causing you to dismiss coming into the harbor to anchor down? What's the condition of your vessel? We'll talk to you guys next time.